Excellence Riviera Cancun is one of my most requested destination wedding resorts. And today I'm going to walk you through what having a wedding here might look like and if it's the right option for you. If we don't know each other yet, my name is Becky from the blog travelagentbecky.com, and I specialize in destination weddings that happen in the Cancun and Riviera Maya area of Mexico. Today, I'm walking you through why Excellence Riviera Cancun might be the right resort for you. However, this is not a wedding package breakdown. That information is all online, and I'm happy to go over it with people or answer questions in the comment section. This is an overall video about is Excellence Riviera Cancun worth it for your wedding? What are some of the niche things that you might need to know about this property and why it might actually work in your favor versus some other resorts? Okay, some basics. Excellence Riviera Cancun is an adults only property and it's about 20 to 25 minutes south of the Cancun International Airport. It's not a huge transfer, but we are going further south than the hotel zone. The resort itself is relatively large, it's lush, and I feel like it really has a nice, relaxed, but not silent vibe. Does that make sense? What I really like about Excellence Riviera Cancun is that their on-site wedding team is actually very good. And I don't say this lightly because I work with a lot of other brands, but the resort team on site is very, very good. Sometimes they can be slow answering emails. However, when it is your turn to have your wedding, you want to be the center of attention and you understand why email answering might be a little slow. So I find that to be the universal norm. Nobody gets a response time quickly, and I get it. However, the on site team, the ones doing your wedding, are phenomenal. Okay, some things you need to know about the Excellence brand, and these apply to Excellence Riviera Cancun. They are not doing standard room blocks. The groups department, which will handle all of your guests' stays, and the weddings department work very closely here and work very well. They have a whole internal communication system and it works in your favor. However, there is no room block. So just like setting up weddings at other places, you have to have a room block and a wedding contract. Here you're going to have a groups contract and a wedding contract, but without the room block. Instead, basically, we're going to set up a promo code. So we are going to still allow your guests' bookings to be linked and to be associated with the wedding, and we're even going to allow them to book at a discount, but they're going to have to book a certain way. We won't hold space, but we will hold amazing prices. So your guests need to book early and get in. I've seen a lot of folks really freak out about not having guaranteed wedding space in a room block, and I know that stresses a lot of folks out. Again, I'm happy to talk to you specifically about your case and if it's the right move, but if you're planning a destination wedding a year out and you're inviting folks early, they should be booking early. They should have no issue getting a room. Okay, leaning in a little bit more to how the groups and the wedding teams work together. Again, you're going to have a wedding contract where you are going to get all of the perks outlined in the wedding package that you choose and pay for, but then also you're going to get perks from your groups department sent over to be applied to your wedding. So if you have so many rooms, you get these many perks and they're added. So many rooms, these many perks, and they're added. You can, of course, choose your perks. So you might choose a room discount or you might choose a better suite. All of those things can still work together really well. Again, this process can be a hassle when looking at other resorts, but at Excellence Riviera Cancun and among this brand in general, Excellence will hold your wedding date. So if your wedding date is approved and available, they basically will pencil you in and say, all right, you have 14 days to get your group organized before we erase your name. So you are holding your date while you're able to also work on your group. And when you are doing this at other properties, this looks similar but feels a little bit different because you have to have things done in a very specific order. But with Excellence, it's on a timeline, but it's helpful, right? They're going to hold this for you. You don't have to worry about someone coming in and stealing your wedding date while you get your whole group set up. And again, the nice thing is these groups are talking to each other and you are not going in between them trying to figure this all out. They're literally sending you an email saying, okay, here's your next step. And while it can be a confusing process, it is doable on your own. But because you're entering these contracts, I highly recommend you work with an agent that specializes in Excellence brand. And you may note that that is hard to find because Excellence does different things from literally every other hotel chain. Excellence is doing it totally different. For some, that's a good thing. So Make sure you find a specialist who works with Excellence contracts regularly, can read you these items line by line, tell you what they mean, so you know exactly what to expect. Okay, this might be everyone's favorite thing to talk about at Excellence Riviera Cancun, but the actual wedding venues. They have 3 where you can host your actual wedding, and they are stunning. So the gazebo is a really commonly chosen choice. There are a lot of wedding couples that want to be near the water but don't actually want their toes in the sand. They want a garden vibe or a jungle vibe or just something tropical that's not sand. This is gorgeous. There's scenery all around. You can see it's very lush. You can add decor here, but really keeping it simple is okay here too. Like most all other resorts, there is a beach gazebo. This one is really unique. I like how wide it is. It feels different than some others. And again, this one's chosen a lot. And one that I don't think I've ever had a wedding couple choose because I think it's really geared more towards smaller weddings, the pier. And this is, again, a very unique option. And I think if you're doing something really micro or small, or even a vow renewal, something really that small, this is really cool. Venue assignment is handled differently at Excellence. You don't have to pay something to lock it in. The nice thing is with Excellence, there's only one wedding a day. Now, if there are a couple of vow renewals that want to happen at the same day, one in the morning, one in the evening, they might do that if they can balance 2 small things. However, most of the time it's one wedding a day. Your wedding venue location is really yours to choose. However, you will have to fit and they will hold you to that. So if you're not going to fit or look really good in that venue, they might ask you to change. So you want to take a look at how many people can fit in each venue and kind of make sure that you're actually going to look and fill that space nicely. Okay, so let's talk really briefly about the wedding packages. There are 2. There's the Lovebirds package, which is very small. It's really meant to be very basic. There's no after party. There's really nothing to it except for the small ceremony, and it's only for just a few people. So this is where my micro weddings or my vow renewals or elopements, that's the package that they're looking at. There's really not enough in it to start there and build up for most weddings. So 95% of my Excellence weddings are choosing the Everlasting Memories package. With the Excellence brand, you do get a deal on the Everlasting Memories package if you book Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday wedding dates. Thursday through Sunday will pay full price for that. I really recommend you read the terms and conditions to your wedding contract very carefully because there are really specific things in there, like 90% of your guests have to stay on site with you. You might have a different exception where you are allowing someone to stay somewhere else, but 90% of the guests have to stay on the resort with you and be booked in your promo code. So again, there are definite things that you might not be thinking about that a specialist in this category will absolutely guide you to. So if you love this property, how do you actually get started? First, if you are at all considering working with a travel agent or a wedding specialist, reach out to them first. Because if you initiate the conversation with Excellence, they will then not really work well with your travel agent. They have a lot of rules. A lot of travel agents won't even work with this brand because of the way they do things. So if you at all think you might want help, reach out to the travel agent that you trust to get a quote and figure out what it would look like to work with a specialist. So that's first step, is decide if you're going to go it alone or decide if you're going to work with a travel agent. After that, your travel agent will reach out or you will reach out and request your date. You'll want to get your wedding date on hold, and from there you're going to start working with the groups department to coordinate how many rooms you're going to need. It's really important that you get your guest list as accurate as you can. You can request to add rooms to your promo code. So if you are going to have 80 guests coming and you're pretty sure of that, they're going to suggest that you take about 40 rooms at Excellence Riviera Cancun. I would actually suggest you maybe do 46 rooms, just so you have a little bit of overage. Maybe some singles will come, maybe a few more extra people will come than you originally thought, and maybe some won't. So that gives you a really good balance. From there, if that ends up not being enough rooms, you can request that the groups add more uses of the promo code to your account. So again, it's not a guarantee, but you would just email the groups department and say, hi, our promo code seems to not be working. We must have had 46 people use our promo code. Is it possible to get 4 more added? We have 4 more rooms still trying to book. then if there is room, they will allow that. It's not guaranteed to get those extra rooms. So I really encourage you to be very strategic in the number you choose when you are choosing your guest list amount. Okay, so should you have a wedding at Excellence Riviera Cancun? Only you can answer that. I love this property. I think it's stunning. I love the on-site wedding team. I think the locations are really beautiful and the gazebo here is unique. I like this property and I think your guests will like it too. So if this is one you have questions about, make sure you're headed to the comment section. I will be there to answer questions. I also have a subreddit started for Excellence weddings in general, and I'll be there answering your questions that you post there as well. So let me know if I can be of help. My consultation calls are always complimentary if you want to jump on a call to see if I might be the right planner for you. Again, all of that's in the description box. I will see you in the next one. Have a great day.